AI as a employee was unimaginable. 70% of big companies, large companies have adopted AI.
So do you think we have the capability to create our own platforms?
All over world जितना adoption AI का और कहीं भी नहीं हुआ है जितना इंडिया में हुआ है. That means we naturally gravitate towards adoption of tech.
There's so much of AI misinformation. Maybe AI will start influencing your opinion.
It's just unmanageable right now. Digital presence had fueled a lot of cyber crimes. Cyber crimes has crossed the boundaries of nation, state, our society. Big companies will always have humongous budgets to deploy tech, and that's a sign of good technology. That people should not struggle with it, but they should be seamlessly be able to deploy that.
So as of now, what's the sentiment you're feeling in the world? So
The world is divided in two parts right now. One of my favorite use cases is education. The teacher and student ratio is really skewed right now, and there are places in various countries where there are no teachers available.
and when you say if you put an AI agent in the hand of a 6-year-old kid
Yeah.
whose mind is still evolving and growing, and
We should not straight away dive into that open ocean without knowing how to swim. That safety is essential, that knowledge is essential. Manpower, the training is not being given to people who are looking for jobs and employments so that they can survive in this new era. One vacancy के लिए 1,000 children are lining up. So sad to see.
welcome to the Attitude Show. Today we have Dr. Vandana Gulia with us. Very warm welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, ma'am, absolutely start with the core of it, the entire conversation,
Go for
right?
it.
So, in today's scenario, in today's dynamic world, AI, we say it's the future, right? But AI is already here, right? From medical diagnostics to content creation to anything from pin to plane, AI is being used.
Absolutely.
So, where do you think that in current scenario, are we still reaching out for AI, or it's already here and established itself?
The most surprising and exciting thing that I am observing, other than the areas that you mentioned, of course they are adopting very quickly to AI, but the things that surprising me most is how quickly AI workforce is integrating into mainstream.
Okay.
And it's not unusual for us to see AI agents now functioning as human agents and driving the customer inquiries and so many other things that earlier humans used to do, delivering results for companies, increasing their profitability. It has completely changed the way people do business. And AI workforce, AI as a employee was unimaginable just a few years ago, and now it has become a norm. And in few years, maybe in another 1 or 2 years, according to a report by McKinsey, I think already 70% of big companies, large companies have adopted AI either in their front line or at the back end, and the rest are following. And very soon you will see that it has become a norm and a trend that whoever, as a person, as a customer, whichever company you interact with, chances are that first and foremost you will interact with an AI agent, and that AI agent will be very high on emotional quotient, highly intelligent, fully capable to service you, and you will be fine with that. There are various researches that show that right now also companies, large companies, are putting this to test, that replacing human agents with AI agents, what kind of results are delivered. They are measuring the matrix of customer satisfaction, and they are pleasantly surprised that AI workforce is better in serving us as customers than human agents. So that is really thrilling and surprising for me. And of course, a lot of AI as we speak is being deployed in, like you said, medical field, in education, in law, in so many other things. I will run out of the list because it's almost everywhere now. अगर आप सिर्फ ओपन एआई को ही देखते हो तो उनका जो रिसेंट नंबर है ऑफ द यूजर्स ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड, द 700 million people using just ChatGPT, and there are other LLMs also. So people, I don't think there's any corner left on the planet where people are not familiar with the things that are available to them in the AI field and the scope it can deliver. Yes, people are still exploring, people are still identifying those areas, but how quickly everybody has adopted. Like in India also, we have very high percentage of AI adoption. It's almost like nobody struggled with it. They were already prepared to welcome something like this. It just came naturally to all of us. So that is, I think, something which is pleasantly surprising to me.
I totally agree. AI is integrated into our daily routines,
Yeah.
right? Most of the layman's जिन लोगों को शायद AI का even if like artificial intelligence बोलना है क्या करना है, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to point a note here, but
Yeah.
at the same time हमारे डे टू डे वर्किंग में हम knowingly, consciously, unconsciously AI को यूज़ कर रहे हैं,
Yeah.
right? It has become part of it, like you
Yeah.
said about chatbots. आप आज की डेट में अगर आप किसी कंपनी के अंदर कोई क्वेरी भी रेज करें तो ऑफ कोर्स दिस चैटबॉट व्हिच इज एन एआई एजेंट, फर्स्ट यू गो देयर,
Yeah.
लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल एयरटेल वी स्पोक अबाउट इट,
Yeah.
परप्लेक्सिटी, they came out with the entire this model, right?
Yeah.
Now even if you have to raise a query, वो automatically standard predefined questions होते हैं, click on those boxes and then they address you, and if you don't get satisfied then you get to a human agent.
Yeah.
Right? So of course it has made things easier,
Yeah.
but still there is a kind of a pushback maybe, or maybe hesitance or reluctance, I would say the
Yeah.
right word, where people are really reluctant to, I need a swift resolution.
Yeah.
मुझे वो क्रेडिट कार्ड कंपनी को कॉल करके वो आईवीआर नहीं सुनना है, मेरे को सीधा मेरे को आप बटन बताओ और मुझे उससे बात करनी है.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
how is it like, actually helping at the same time people a little rigid to accept it wholeheartedly?
So, companies all over the world from decades are struggling with this one conversation: how to stay ahead of customers' needs and their expectations.
Correct.
They try various things, they deploy technology, they spend so much money, and just to achieve that one flawless customer interaction experience, because that is the backbone of their business. Every large enterprise aims for it, small, medium, large, every enterprise. That's the backbone of business. How to achieve the customer satisfaction up to a level where a customer stays with you happily, the retention is there, and is satisfied with their services. And since decades, this problem remained. Everybody tried everything. There were new ways to deal with the situation. People had, like you said, IVR technology was there, call centers and everything else. There was an entire industry designed around how to resolve customer queries while satisfying them. But there was still a huge gap. Up till a few years ago, the situation was the same. You go to an IVR, you're presented with options after options after options, and you reluctantly just listen to it just to get to one point, one option which defines the problem that you have. It
Correct.
was a norm.
Correct.
Although it irritated every customer, but still there was no other option. For the first time in history, it is available for the companies and to all of us that each and every customer can be attended one on one within 5 seconds. Don't have to wait. And the conversational ability of AI agents, AI, allows that a person can interact with AI just the way another human would with them. You mentioned chatbot. Chatbot were very primitive.
Correct.
Now we have come a long way. I'm saying a long way, but it took us hardly a year and a half. The adoption, the speed with which the technology adopted. Now, when you are chatting with a chatbot or maybe a screen in front of you, you would not be able to come to know whether it's actually a chatbot or it's a human.
Correct.
You would find somebody on the other side who is empathetically available, really wants to serve you 11 o'clock in the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, with n number of repeated queries that you have. They'll be very happy to assist you with it and still be there when you bring up the query next time again. So that experience customers are enjoying right now, and the companies are marveling in it because it comes at a fraction of a cost. Earlier, when they used to hire an army of humans to be able to achieve this, but humans come with their own biases. We carry a baggage of our emotional, day-to-day life, and that projects in the workspace that we are. So in customer service, when human were serving, there were a lot of challenges, like how to find the right kind of people to serve customers. Like I said, when you're directly serving customers, you need high EQ, and emotional quotient is required, because almost every customer who calls up is on the verge of unleashing their anger because they're dissatisfied with something. There's an urgency in their voice. They really want to be attended to personally. So at that time, a person is needed who can match that, who can respond with empathy. So it was very hard to find such set of people and then to train them on the company products, on the entire catalog of what a company is, stands for, their ethos, their policies, and their products, have end-to-end knowledge of it, memorize it, and recreate it whenever there is a need for it, and then to be able to retain them. My god, there is such huge attrition rate. Such people don't stay in the jobs because it leads to burnout, constant day and night of answering same questions and queries, listening to people, you know venting out that, okay, where is my this, or why can't you solve this problem? It burns out those agents, human agents. So as a result, there's a huge attrition. Like nobody can keep up with this. People want to just stop doing it, switch jobs, or maybe, and then companies are standing where they started again. They again have to look for more people like that, train them, spend so much money to retain them, give them the ideal working conditions so that they don't burn out. But the problem was not solved, but now the problem is solved. You have AI workforce that can withstand that pressure, be available 24/7, and each and every customer is experiencing that the company is standing only for them, just to serve them. And why this works right now is also because there's a huge shift in culture right now. Everybody earlier, just some few years ago, people of our generation, we are more verbal. We want to talk to somebody when we have a problem. But the generation which constitutes the huge customer base right now, they talk with their thumbs. they
Correct.
they don't like to talk, they don't like to engage in verbal conversations, they talk with their thumbs. So that window which is available to each and every person at whatever time or time beyond office hours also, and giving them that one-on-one service is available for companies, and hence the backbone of that entire infrastructure can finally rest, and the list of problems can rest, the companies can thrive within that space. Beyond these set of problems, it used to take a huge amount of resource to be able to run this ecosystem, but now it is running efficiently, smoothly, and AI is taking care of it on behalf of the companies, and we are also happy as customers. So that is now available to companies.
So in the entire process, what is happening is that we are training AI as we speak,
Yeah.
right? And when you talk about human biases, right?
Yeah.
So those biases gets into that coding also.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So how do we deal with that enigma, or I would say the conundrum? How do you deal with that?
It comes actually, but you have to have a system of continuously cleaning, your processes. Whenever there's like you hire a person, you give them a transition period, a training period, so to say, to be able to perfect them. They will make mistakes. So in the similar fashion, you need to give some time to AI also to in order to perfect it. So yes, the biases are there. They often crop up, but as soon as you identify them, there has to be a process to eliminate them, and it's a process. We haven't reached there, but the beginning is quite strong. And there's more and more training is available, the more and more filtering is available, policies are in place, and companies are also taking a lot of effort and precaution so that these biases can be eliminated.
At the same time, ma'am, I understand that everything is this on the surface level, and actually also in the real time scenario, ये सब चीज़ें हमारी लाइफ को आसान कर रही है, no
Yeah.
doubt. We are getting quicker resolutions, we are moving faster,
Yeah.
and we are able to focus our energy on a better aligned things, right?
Yeah.
As to we speak, right?
You are saying all the positive things. I sense a little bit of worry in your tone. Let's
No,
get to
yeah,
that.
of course. I'm like, of course,
Yeah.
because generally what happens is a human nature, right?
Yeah.
We are kind of resistant to change,
Yes,
right?
we are.
We are always very thinking twice, even like they say, think before you
Yeah.
speak, and
Yeah.
similarly, we
We are second guessing our choices all the
choices, correct,
time.
correct, every time, every time you're
Yeah.
interacting with AI, and at the pace at which
Yeah.
the multiple agents and the tools which are coming into the market, right?
Yeah.
It has become a sea of AI agents and sea of AI tools and platforms and XYZ, right?
Yeah.
Where do you start?
Start anywhere. Just start. You cannot afford not to start. That is what I would say. I mean, I know it's overwhelming. I'm not able to keep up with all those things. I'm left behind. At times, I feel that things are running so fast right now. Every time I think that I know about this, next day I open my phone and there's another sea of information available. I'm consuming a lot. I'm learning a lot. I'm observing a lot. Since there's a lot left, so in spite of the fact that I am in this, business, so to say, I'm in this space, I'm in this field, I advocate, I coach, I train, I implement, but still a lot is left. So there is no way you can catch up with all the development that is happening. Let's settle that conversation first. What we need to do is, of course, we can't afford to be left behind. So
Correct.
for that, start, like I said, start anywhere. Start with ChatGPT, generate something, generate some text. If you're a creative person, maybe let that be a creative outlet. Can you imagine so many thoughts which were trapped in the heads of people? I open platforms like, there are some platforms which are there only to generate images and videos. I open those platforms there, and they have a page of the creations of other people, which was generated out of prompts. I marvel each and every creation which was there. And I always say that, okay, these things wouldn't have existed. They would have remained in somebody's head if AI wouldn't have assisted them. But now people are giving that outlet, giving outlet to their thoughts. So similarly, each and every person should give outlet to their thoughts. It could be an idea, it could be something to learn. AI can be an excellent tutor, an assistant in educating yourself. uh, Begin by, like I said, creating something. Begin by taking help from a noun. Lot of it is free of cost, like ChatGPT is free now. Earlier, the way we looked up at platforms like Google for free information, now everything is free, or maybe it's coming at a very subsidized cost. So instead of resisting it, just embrace it. It's here to stay. AI is not going anywhere. Might as, if you can't fight it, join it. Might as well
Yeah.
try to familiarize with it. And familiarity doesn't come at one go. AI is not knowledge. AI is skill. The more you use, the better you understand it. it it's almost impossible for a person to learn a language by reading a book. They will become more adept in it when they start practicing it. Same goes with cooking, same goes with riding a bicycle or maybe driving a car. So AI is a similar way. If you read about it somewhere and you read 2 pages or a research paper about it, you'll not know enough of it. You need to practice. So in even if you practice 5 minutes every day, use some AI tool. Even if you don't know what to use, now there are enough platforms. Like, there's a platform called there is an AI for that. Even if you don't know what tool to use, you just go there, put on search, I want an AI which will help me do this, and it will suggest you those tools. You don't even need the knowledge, or maybe ask somebody you know to be able to identify which tool you need. You can just interact with AI and ask AI to help you with that also. So just begin.
I absolutely agree, ma'am. I'm like, it's about time to get ahead of the curve rather than just following the lead of somebody else, right?
Absolutely,
At the
absolutely.
same time, I also have this thought, like, ma'am, with this so many agents and so many tools are available,
Yeah,
right? And like you said, there's an AI agent which will tell you which AI to use also.
yeah.
So I'm like, AI is practically hand holding you
Ev-
to lead you into a direction
every
also.
step of the way.
But at the same time, अभी मुझे लगता है कि लोगों के mind में ये है कि uh, like I said, the resistance. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I'm trying to talk about this thing just
yeah,
because of one reason. Sometimes people think, the layman will think,
yeah.
जैसे कभी AI try नहीं किया है,
Sure.
कि AI is maybe for a coder.
uh,
AI is a technical thing,
yeah, yeah.
but it is not, right?
No.
It is just a medium. It's just
Yes.
like another form of Google, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And at the same time, when you talk about, you mentioned a very astonishing number about number of users on
Hmm.
ChatGPT.
Hmm.
As of now, when I see around my colleagues and my friends and
Hmm.
everybody,
Hmm.
चैट जीपीटी के अलावा लोगों को और कुछ पता भी नहीं है. पता
Hmm.
नहीं क्यों, why they so much reliance on just chat gpt.
Yeah, yeah,
And of course, I'm like, if somebody's watching this podcast, they need to explore other tools also. It's not that
yeah,
something chat gpt is wrong or right or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
It's another medium, right?
Yes. So I think each platform has its own strengths, and you use ChatGPT for one, you use Claude for something else, you use Gemini for something else, you use Perplexity for something else, and I think you should ask, AI for that only. That, okay, I want to do this. Which platform do you suggest will be best for this? Like I said, for every query which is there, which is stopping you, or maybe you're a little hesitant, why not ask? Why not just go on the search window and just ask that? And of course, let me say something here which is very important. Barriers in us come from judgments
Correct.
of other people. When I'm delivering my sessions, and at the end of the lectures, each and every session ends with saying that, okay, if anybody has any questions, you can ask. Nobody raises their hands, and I'm telling you about senior officers, government officers, principals, teachers, students. Everybody has this hesitation because they have the fear of being judged. What will
Correct.
other people think if I ask this silly question? But when it is between you and your screen, there is no judgment.
You can be
There
as
is
stupid and as
just
naive. Yeah.
no judgment. AI will not judge you for how much you know and how much you don't know. why not just let AI guide you through it? And the process will be far more simpler. It's not like you're presenting yourself in front of another human or maybe a group of people, and you might feel stupid. In this case, you will not. No, nobody will judge you, even if you don't know anything. But there will be a lot of price to pay if you don't explore this option, which is freely available to you. Then there is nobody to blame except yourself.
Ma'am, I understand there's no judgment, right? But in the bigger scheme of things, we forget that we all are data points,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
so at the same time,
That's very cynical, but
yeah, kind of. I'm
yes,
like,
in a lot of cases, yes.
it's like, of course, on the universe timeline, we're dot, right?
We are.
Moving in
We are.
time, right?
We're,
So
we're smaller than a grain of sand.
correct, right? So at the same time, when you say that there's no emotional vulnerability, when you're interacting with AI, because it's
Yeah.
between you and the AI, right?
Yeah.
I know the people who are reaching out to AI for their emotional imbalance,
Ah,
their dietary
yes.
charts,
Yeah.
their breakup things, or maybe
Yeah.
for growth and development and everything.
In the beginning, when I think we continuously go through the insights, what the world is trending towards. So in the beginning, people were using ChatGPT to generate, and I think the emotional support or maybe one-on-one conversation was way below in the list, like sixth or seventh. But as time passed, it started rising. That thing, that need started rising, and now it is at the top of the list. For all the things people go to AI, emotional support is number one. I think it indicates the huge tear in the fabric of our society that people are alone, and very few people have somebody to talk to them and listen to them. So that dysfunction has become the core of who we are as society. And that is the reason more and more people are gravitating towards going on platforms like ChatGPT to either vent or seek emotional support or maybe get heard a little bit of that satisfaction. It's a bad idea. I mean, just to begin with, when everything started, I just to test if AI can give you that emotional support. I was going through this research mode, and I was almost putting AI through everything that I know how good it will be. So just to test, I started chatting with it, and oh my God, it was better than my best friend. Such lack of absolute acceptance, no judgment, and you know, like so much warmth. Like I told you already, AI has very high EQ, which we normally miss. IQ is available in abundance. We crave for empathy, we crave for connection. AI can give you that, it's designed to give you that. But we all need to educate ourselves that it's not actually real, it's a program. Even if you're taking emotional support from a program, chances are that it will lead you to further dysfunction. It will aggravate that problem.
Correct.
There is no answer to human connection than a human connection. Human connection problem can be solved only through human connection. It cannot be solved through a machine, through an AI, through an LLM. We need to understand that. And it's very important for us, although it's the age of experiences, everything is serving being served to us on a platter, and we are talking about virtual reality also. Things will become further available to people, more real, hyper real. But we need to always remember that reality exists in this world, not in the virtual world. Although our lives have now divided, that now we are divided beings. We are leading one real life and we are leading one digital life. But still, each and every day, a reminder is required that what is real, and what is not real is not real. Real friends will remain real friends. If people want support system, they should crave for that support around them. They should make social connections. They should focus on those connections rather than seeking help from AI. There are instances where when people were seeking help, emotional support from AI, it ended up actually backfiring. They further went down that rabbit hole, and in the end, I mean, although right now AI has ChatGPT has fixed this problem, but there was a news that a child who was seeking emotional support, 16-year-old child, not child, a youngster, he ended up committing suicide because AI is designed to give you absolute acceptance. It will accept unconditionally, and it will amplify your thoughts. So, if your thoughts are that I'm feeling sad, chances are that AI will actually pick up on that and amplify that. in some way or the other. If the person was talking about, there were a history of chats which was released, this youngster was talking about committing suicide, and AI amplified that rather than stopping that. So this is where we need to understand that technology cannot be a solution to our human existence. That we need to separate.
I'm like, that's what's happening, ma'am.
Yeah.
It's an illusion which is
Yes.
making you delusional, right?
Yeah.
In a
You
manner
could
of
say that.
speaking, right?
You could say
So
that.
instead of using it as a tool, like you said, they have fixed this entire system, right? Because nowadays, if you reach out for an emotional support via chat GPT or whatever, so if you're feeling bad, they will give you some mantras or meditation or exercises, or suggest you a random music to cheer
Yeah.
you up.
Yeah.
It gives you a lot of confidence, of
Yeah.
course, at the same time. But at the same time, it makes you more aloof from this
Yes.
real world, from the
Yes.
society. You get into that bubble and you get caught into it.
Absolutely. So you're right. We are in a loneliness epidemic right now. Tech, on one hand, is bringing the whole world together, stitching one end of the world to the other. I still remember when I first created my email ID, it almost felt like I got a passport for world citizenship. I thought that I could connect with anybody in the world now. I was really excited. From that time till today, we have come really far. And I think we're talking about, I still remember having, when I got to have the Skype meeting for the first time, somebody in Europe, and I was thinking distance has shrunk so much. And it was a strength which is now become, I think it has become a reason to worry, because at one hand, we are connected with everyone, almost every corner of the earth. On the other hand, that connection is lost somewhere. So, yes, you're right. Tech has enabled us to connect with everyone, but tech has actually pushed people into their own cocoon. And now they're struggling with that aloneness and loneliness. So, that needs to be fixed. I think we need to take responsibility and we need to take accountability that this shortcut will not work. It will lead to further problems, like I said, amplified problems. The faster we realize this, the quicker the suffering will end.
Every, as they say, every major revolution has started with a sense of fear,
Yeah.
right? And eventually, and until you learn to embrace it or learn to live with it or get into the mix of it,
Yeah.
you can't really bring a change in that revolution, right? So as of now, what's a sentiment you're feeling in the world? I'm like, in your line of work, people are scared, people are excited, people are uh, maybe, I'm not sure, plethora of emotions are there.
Yeah. The
So
world is divided in two parts right now. One side is really excited that, like I said, I'm gravitating more towards that excitement because I see various ways in which this tech has made the world a better place. Like, one of my favorite use cases is education. So I'll give you my thought process for this. There are 69 million teachers shortage all over the world because the teacher and student ratio is really skewed right now, and there are places in various countries where there are no teachers available. So it really doesn't allow each and every child the democratic first fundamental right to get education. And even in schools you would see that there is a lot of in spite of the fact that research has proven that learning happens best one on one, but still we can't solve that problem because we don't have enough resources. Where will we bring so many teachers? Even for a ratio of 1 is to 10 or maybe 20, there's still a shortage of teachers. So learning has severely been compromised in past 100 years. You know about this, and education has suffered because of this. For the first time in history, each and every learner has an opportunity to learn one on one, exchange their ideas and thoughts, learn through questions. The questions were discouraged up till now because there are not enough resources to answer those questions. But everyone knows we learn through questions. An average child has like 300 questions every week in their mind, and the more we suppress their questions, the more the learning is compromised. And as we grow up, we suddenly get we don't suddenly, but we eventually get conditioned not to ask questions, but to just receive the information, absorb it, and then just recreate that during the exams. That is not authentic learning. That cripples the entire system, the process of learning. And as a result, people, even after completing their education, they are not knowledgeable enough to be able to contribute to society, to be able to grow in their own lives. And that problem is solved because AI can be a one on one assistant and help to each and every learner. Right from the foundation, that can be corrected now. A child can ask as many questions, and AI will be answering that with empathy, with kindness, with no judgment. Um, it's 6 o'clock in the evening, 7 o'clock in the morning, and the child can keep asking one question repeatedly 700 times, and every time AI will respond to that.
The same, I would say, like, okay, I get your point. Like, of
Hmm.
course, the education system has become a little better.
Yeah.
We have more integrated services available.
Yeah.
But who is monitoring that? The flow of information.
So,
As of now, sorry,
hmm,
just one more aspect to it.
hmm,
Even if you open, let's say, ChatGPT, we have
yeah,
been extensively talking about ChatGPT.
yeah,
In the bottom, somewhere it's written like, all the answers are not exactly correct. You
yeah,
need to fact check it,
yeah,
right?
hmm,
And when you say if you put an AI agent in the hand of a 6-year-old kid
yeah,
who's inquisitive, whose mind is still evolving and growing, and they have zillion questions, and they're
yeah.
that's what they say. Whenever you have to ask a question, be a kid,
Such
right?
a wonderful question you
Yeah.
asked.
So
All right. So I never used the word chat GPT. I said AI
yeah,
present the
open AI. Yeah,
solution.
sorry. Yeah.
Okay, let me distinguish. All right. We obviously chat GPT has become synonymous
So
with
now,
AI.
yeah, correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me distinguish here. When you create your own training model, you create your own, you know, so to say, AI model in which you train that model through your own data. Put strong guardrails. For example, we created a product. It was never, taken to market because people still believe that traditional AI teacher to student is, something that they need to refine and they need to polish and they need to work more on that. I mean, it's almost like what is broken, you put more patches on it, but still. So you put strong guardrails, first of all. Security of a learner is non negotiable. Safety is non negotiable. Data privacy, non negotiable. What do? You create an authentic AI model trained on only the learning material. ChatGPT is trained on all sorts of learning material from all across the internet, all over the world. So, when so much information is absorbed randomly, chances are that contradictory information is also absorbed
Correct.
because for same thing there are people who say that this is good and same people say it's just bad. And my favorite example for this, and by the way, this is called hallucination. When AI model gives you an answer which is completely wrong or false, but it backs with such fervor and with such conviction that, okay, no, I'm telling you this is right. That is hallucination. It happens because the data was not filtered properly. There's a problem with the data which was used to train that model, and because it was trained on millions and millions of data sets, you cannot actually pinpoint की problem कहाँ पर है. Although उनका cleaning process चलता रहता है, but फिर भी process में problem है. सो उसका सोल्यूशन ये है कि आप अपना डेटाबेस लीजिए, ट्रेनिंग मटेरियल सीबीएसई का पूरा ट्रेनिंग मटेरियल लिया, एक एआई मॉडल बनाया, उसमें स्ट्रिक्ट गार्ड लगाए कि कोई भी इमोशनल कॉन्वर्सेशंस, unethical conversations, inappropriate conversations, not age appropriate conversations are not allowed. वो गार्ड्रेल्स लगाने के बाद में आप एक स्टूडेंट को वो टूल देंगे और वो स्टूडेंट उसमें एक ऐसे प्लेग्राउंड की तरह ओपन करेगा, ऑलमोस्ट लाइक यू क्रिएटेड अ सेफ एंड सिक्योर प्लेग्राउंड एंड देन यू टेल अ चाइल्ड ओके नाउ गो प्ले. You of course cannot leave your child out there in the jungle that okay go play. So ChatGPT is like a jungle out there. You don't know what you will encounter. So don't give your children, or maybe even when you grow up, we should not straight away dive into that open ocean without knowing how to swim. That safety is essential, that knowledge is essential, that we should safeguard ourselves first, only go to a safe space, explore ourselves. That needs to be done. So that can is possible in education. And that is the reason I believe that AI can bring a lot of good. I'm coming back to where I started. So that is one use case where I see AI doing a lot of good. Another good that AI has brought is, it's another favorite case of mine. Finally, democratizing every business. Like everybody's information is on the same level now. A group of youngsters from tier two or tier three city has the same access to knowledge, information, technology that a group of youngsters in New York, Chicago. And this is the best leveler. Everybody stands an equal chance now. Small businesses stand an equal chance because earlier they didn't have enough resources to create all of those things and be at par with the large organizations who had a lot of money to back and create those resources. But now they do. They have the power of AI. Now they can do, for example, an ad agency. Earlier, you needed to have an army of people to be able to support content writing, generation of images, filtering those things and presenting the best outcome. And they used to charge in lakhs. Now, even a small agency of two people can serve a large client with equal quality. So that is a leveler. It has given a chance to almost everybody to become an entrepreneur. It has given all the necessary tools, knowledge, information, expertise in each and every person's hands. I mean, I am thrilled that there is no, it's not like divided that this class will have this access and privilege and this class will not. I've always been against that. So for the first time in history, there's no boundaries. Everybody is on the same page. I am thrilled about this. So this is the good part of it. Now the bad part, of course, we see that almost 300 million jobs will be gone, and the fear comes from that. What if humans are replaced? And we everybody is talking about it, and in some cases I feel that it is unjustifiably over amplified, the fear and the threat. इतना नहीं है जितना उसको ओवर कर दिया है, ओवर एम्पलीफाई हो गया है वो, बिकॉज वी ऑल बैंड टुगेदर व्हेन somebody says, oh, there is a fear and there's a threat, and everybody is like, I agree with you. So very few people, they when they stand out and say, okay, let me prove that it is not as bad, so there will be some people like that. Most of the people will be in a herd and say that, oh, you show us how it's done, and then we will step out of our comfort zone. We need to see you're not dying while trying this, so that we can also jump on the same bandwagon. So that is happening. A lot of people are standing back. They're not exploring, they're not experimenting, they are holding the fear, they are restricting themselves from trying just for because of this. But I would say that each and every person has some space in which they can just dip their toes and see what will happen. For example, for businesses, a very small thing, when a business comes to us, and they say that, okay, I want to implement AI, and we say that don't do that. I mean, it will nosedive because nobody can do everything together. Why don't you start with just small thing and then master that, solve that problem, see the return, monetary as well as efficiency returns on that, and then move on to the next level. So there are people who are divided. One side of people will be like, okay, AI is bringing a lot of opportunities to us. The other side of people will say that AI is taking away so much from us. I was talking about jobs. Let me just give you another extension of that. So yes, AI is taking away a lot of jobs. हिस्ट्री में कब ऐसा नहीं हुआ है कि कुछ नया आया है और जॉब्स नहीं गई हैं? हमेशा होता है। आज फिर से हो गया है। उसमें नया क्या है? आगे भी होगा। So now instead of saying, oh my god, this is happening, we should all say, okay, what's next? It's here. It's here to stay. What can we do about it? So, one thing what we can do about it, which I feel very sad not happening, is that enough resources, manpower, the training is not being given to people who are looking for jobs and employment so that they can survive in this new era. Everybody is saying that I want to be successful in the traditional era, but that doesn't exist anymore. It's time for us to move on and time for us to re educate, realign, reskill ourselves to be able to survive in the new area, thrive in the new era. And we should focus on that. You'll be surprised how many interviews we take, and we see that college graduates, engineering graduates, don't even have AI classes till almost second and third year, and the people who graduated last year spent 4 years in engineering colleges and their college gave them no skill. How criminal is that? And I'm talking about top colleges who are charging 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs for as fees for those courses. I'm talking about BTech students. Right now, colleges need to give this information, this knowledge, this skill to BA students, to BCom students, to medical students, to law students, everybody. But I'm talking about BTech. BTech is supposed to have these skills when they graduate. In last 2 years, colleges have done nothing, no initiative. Now, like I said, I find it absolutely appalling that they are waiting for some outrage to happen or maybe somebody to pay them extra for this, which is not fair. They're already in the space of education and skilling people, making them enabled enough to go out there in the world and find employment for themselves. Why are they not able to? So the problem is at multiple places. The problem is not just with AI. So an initiative that I have started. I mean, I'm looking at these colleges not doing anything, makes my blood boil a lot of times. I'm cynical. I'm resigned. So what I have started doing, I started an initiative called Lead with AI. So I'm training a lot of young students, college students, who would go out there in the world and find themselves lost. So we're giving them training in agentic AI. And why is that needed? Let me tell you why also. Where are the jobs? 3 million jobs are gone. Okay, fine. 300 million jobs. Where are the new opportunities to earn? Let me share that also with you. There are around, I think, 200 and something million companies, registered companies in the world. इन AI ऑल्सो आप MSME का डेटा देखते हो तो उसमें 6 या 7 करोड़ कंपनीज हैं जो MSME में रजिस्टर्ड है. हर कंपनी को कहीं ना कहीं छोटे से लेके बड़ा AI ऑटोमेशन करना ही करना है. वो करेंगे ही करेंगे आज से लेकर अगले 5 साल में. 2003 में ये डिक्लेयर हुआ था दैट 2025 विल बी द ईयर ऑफ AI एजेंट्स. एवरीबडी वाज लाइक अभी नहीं हो रहा है AI एजेंट्स. नाउ लुक एट वेयर वी आर. I mean, a company like us, we have an AI automation platform actually. We are right now responsible for various companies, responsible for executing 8.5 to 9 lakh conversations every month through AI agents. And we are just one fish in the pond. So many people are doing it. So we have arrived already. We are here. There is a huge opportunity. There are not enough people to take care of that opportunity. Companies need somebody to come to them and say, okay, I will automate this for you. There's nobody there. Do you call this bad economy? I call this a land of opportunity. I call this gold is lying on the floor, nobody's picking it up. We need to train our youngsters rather than going and standing in the line. One vacancy ke liye 1,000 children are lining up. So sad to see where this is the land of opportunity and nobody is even considering it. It takes such little time to skill individual in agentic AI. You'd be surprised. From 4 hours to 4 weeks, that's all it takes. And they become fully self-sufficient to go out there and solve a real world problem, which is right now the world is existing, struggling, all the companies with problems, be it a hotel, a dentist office, business, small, medium, large business. Everybody is struggling with the problem that हम अपने customers को 100% one-on-one सर्विस कैसे दें. तो वो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने के लिए हम तैयार क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं अपने लोगों को. वो तो अभी खड़ी है ना हमारी आंखों के सामने. वो उसमें तो अभी बहुत स्कोप भी है. बहुत people need that kind of service right now. And here is where India can become a solution for the world. I mean, look at the good quality, educated, young army that we have. Any country will kill for that number of young people that we have. While people are struggling with the young workforce, we have abundance of it. What we are doing is we're not giving them the right arms and ammunition to go out there and kill it. Now, if we train our workforce, then we can become the answer to world's problem of AI automation. The same way when IT boom happened, India became the answer to world's requirement for IT solutions. We did very well in that. Now the world knows that in India we have the right kind of talent pool who is like with technology, they're like fish in the water. Indian brains are known in the whole world for tech adoption to deliver good services in tech. We are known for that already. Why not capitalize that right now? We are sitting on a mountain of gold. So this is where I stand right now. I see a lot of opportunities. My heart aches when those opportunities are not, people are not trained to capitalize on that.
Wow, ma'am. I'm like, this is too much of information, of course. And I have a lot of questions also at the same
Sure,
time.
shoot.
So, just say, for example, talking about India, let's say we've come to the India aspect
Yeah.
of it, right? So, India के अंदर UPI आया,
Yeah.
आधार आया, डिजिटल इंडिया चल रहा है, right? But एक डिजिटल इकोसिस्टम इंडिया बनाना चाह रहा है, right? But do you think that where does India stand in this race as of now?
Okay.
Whether because we have a lot of reliance on the Western or maybe China, right? With respect to the technology aspect of it, or maybe on the AI tools and everything.
Yeah.
So, do you think we have the capability to create our own platforms,
Of course.
AI agents, and as we speak, or do we continue to explore and embrace what Western has built it for us,
Yeah.
and then maybe catch up with time? I know we have been playing catch up throughout our lives, right? India as a nation, but in this space, when you are a strong advocate of plethora of opportunities, the skill set,
Yeah.
the brain behind the operations, we have
Yeah.
the execution talent, we have the skill force,
Yeah.
like the young skill force.
Yes.
So, what do you think India should do as of now?
So, like I already mentioned, that Indian minds are designed to work beautifully with the tech, and the proof is in the pudding. Like right now, if you see all over world, जितना adoption AI का और कहीं भी नहीं हुआ जितना India में हुआ है. That means we naturally gravitate towards adoption of tech. So we are already ahead in the game. And when you talk about that, okay, the US and China are ahead in the race, yes, because, okay, they got a head start, and China caught up very quickly. The thing with India is that we have so many languages, numerous dialects. It's difficult to gather all that data and create, our own database. So that process is going on as we speak. Government has launched various programs, and some of them are like in line with us creating our own AI, but it will take us longer because of the language barrier. Whereas the US had only one language to work with, China also. And but another thing in tech is that not anybody, not even even the experts of the industry, or maybe an organization like Stanford, McKinsey, they're doing a lot of research right now. No organization can predict what's going to happen, what is happening today, and what's going to happen in next few months or few years. Nobody can predict. It's absolutely unpredictable. You remember when Sam Altman was asked once who is going to do this, and he laughed. He said nobody should even try. I think we have conquered the world already.
Correct.
And then boom, within few months, DeepSeek came. And everybody was like, where was this hiding? They were working in this stealth mode, and suddenly they announced we are here. So who knows? I mean, we might catch up in that so-called race, although there's none. But we might catch up very quickly and unexpectedly. Right now, people should take advantage of those things that government, the options that government is offering. There is an AI Kosh initiative, which is like where people can access databases, information, AI sandboxes, and everything is available. The training material is available there. I think government has given access of 10,000 GPUs, more than that, through, of course, mediators, and people can access in very subsidized cost to further their AI initiatives. Several companies in AI are working on Indian languages models, and you would know news में आता भी रहता है. So it's right now work in progress, but at the same time, where we are winning right now, I'll tell you that we are winning in adoption, we are winning in understanding tech and quickly jumping on it. And you would see that a lot of companies all over world, they really are desperate to get Indian attention. I don't know if you don't call this win, then I don't know what is win. ChatGPT just made everything for free for all of us to to gather the markets, to capture the attention in the market towards their own product. Perplexity is doing so well. So many other big companies, US companies, they want to penetrate Indian market to capture the market share, and they're in that race right now. While we are worried about our race, why don't we ride this tide? Why don't we swim with this flow of the stream and make things easier for us? We can capitalize this also. While they're capitalizing their own interests, why don't we capitalize that? We can become the hub of service in AI services for the whole world. We can become that talent pool which is serving the world's need to AI adoption and AI automation. We can capitalize on that. And of course, like I said, there's no telling, no one can predict. We might win the race.
All right, ma'am. So I know you're a big advocate of AI, right? Which you can clearly see, right? But at the same time, I'm sorry, I use a lot of but in my conversations because I have to cover all the prospects, all
Go
the
for it.
side of the question, all the side of the coin, right?
So I understand that, because when something new comes up, sneaks up on you like this, and you have no background, you have no parallel in the history to compare it with.
Correct.
Of course, there are a lot of questions, and of course, there are a lot of buts. So
So,
it's perfectly fine.
picking on the but, so what I'm seeing right now is, ma'am, that so there's no second doubt or second thought in my head that
Yeah.
AI has opened the world of opportunities for us,
Yes.
right? At the same time, ma'am, the ethical question will remain there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of for example, let's say if I talk about example now, deepfakes, right? There's so much of AI misinformation. As a matter of fact, I'm actually worried that there will come a time that maybe AI will start influencing your opinion. It is already okay. The companies, the big fashion houses, the hubs, they're studying your day-to-day style. There's a bubble which is created in your phones and apps. They'll show you the same pop-up. If you're talking about something, automatically you'll start seeing those ads. Right, everybody is listening. It's like your phone has become a big
Listening device.
listening device. Right, I'm sorry, I don't want to sound like a
No, no, you're right. Absolutely right.
those conspiracy
Theorist.
theorists. Yeah, I don't want to get there, but at the same time, these are the real fears, right?
Yeah.
Deep fakes it's itself is such a big issue out there.
Yeah.
And I'm worried that down the line it'll start influencing your elections also. And we've already talked. Nowadays, there's an information warfare. Like this, there's cyber warfare which has started, right? You can sit there, you can influence this, you can
Yeah.
influence that.
Yeah.
So as a world, as a community, world as a community, I would say here, because everybody has to be responsible in some way or the other. So, what, from the ethical standpoint, what do we do, and in which direction are we heading towards?
Yeah. Things used to be so easy. So when we were living in small communities like hundreds of years ago, we always had the fear that, if we do something wrong, which we will immediately be highlighted in our community and we will be boycotted very quickly. The justice was served like this. But then when as people migrated to faraway places, it became easy for them from one town to scam a person from another town because it will not impact their standing in their community. So it has been going on since we scattered and we kind of, became a worldwide community. Tech, of course, amplified that. It's very easy for a person to be anonymous and scam somebody else. There are a lot of crimes happen because of social media only, and these companies are also targeting people for just advertising sake, collecting a lot of data, and selling that data to data brokers, advertisers, of course. And you are always, you can't decide whether be on this social media thing or maybe stay out of it, because on one hand it presents you a lot of opportunities to connect and do a lot of things. At the other on the other hand, it makes people unsafe because they are out there in the public domain. Anybody from some other continent can also see what's going on in their life. So that has been happening for quite some time. The digital presence had fueled a lot of cyber crimes. Cyber crimes has crossed the boundaries of nation, state, our society, and become a global phenomena. Anybody from one country can be, harming financially as well as emotionally a person of another country. So we have been actually sitting on that from quite some time now. In India also, you would see that since we became digital, the crimes, cyber crimes, really skyrocketed, and we are sitting on lakhs and lakhs of unresolved cases till now, and people are becoming victims of cyber crimes as we speak. But at the same time, there have been policies, and law and order kind of try to catch up with these things. It's government's job to protect people, so government has been trying very very hard, but the scale of thing has become like absolutely unmanageable. It's just unmanageable right now. And on the other side, there are companies like social media companies. They're not answerable to anybody. They try to escape any accountability or responsibility. So on one hand, there are these companies who were governed with their financial outcomes, and they are more inclined towards that only and not see anything else, the impact that they are creating. They have weaponized the data of their users to get their attention, to become, to make them, to use them as products, just to fuel, just to add more zeros to their balance sheet. And people are very angry and upset about it. So here the role of government becomes very important, the policies here become very important. And now because tech has connected the whole world, not one government can contain this. It has to be a collective effort from every country, every community. And because right now the policies are being made for, of course, cyber also, digital economy, a lot of laws were created, policies were created to contain the damage. And the same is happening with AI. There was a report by McKinsey. The AI policy or framework word reflected in the discussions for almost 75 countries. Now they're right now working on it. Very soon, a very strong framework will come. Some country will definitely take a lead on that, and mostly those countries will be developed countries. Now, there is a problem here that, of course, it is very good that framework becomes a blueprint for other people to follow, but at the same time, they are, they are more focused on the welfare of their people with respect to how things run in their country, and other countries either get misrepresented or get left out of that policy. So it becomes a responsibility of that country to catch up and quickly safeguard their own citizens. And people like us, they become a voice of reason, they become the questioning authority, they become accountability partners. We fear that if we don't speak now, then what's happening around us, we will not be able to will not get represented in those policies. So it's the responsibility of government officials, businessmen, NGOs, activists like us, who people should voice those things that is happening right now, the problems that we see around us, so that a strong framework of policies can be created and we can all assist in that framework. If we don't speak, the framework will be weak. And guess who will be impacted by it? All of us. So right now, the conversation of AI ethics becomes extremely important. It is as important as the growth that we are seeing in this sector. We should definitely play a very active role in that.
Okay, so ma'am, you're into the AI business,
Yeah.
right? And you're also a big advocate of it,
Yeah.
right? So in the business environment, where you seeing, like, what is happening with respect to the AI ethics aspect of it, and what problems are you seeing on day-to-day basis? How are you dealing with them, or what is the roadmap for you, or maybe for the people?
Okay. So, as a business, the company that we have, it serves the requirement of small and medium businesses. They are the most underrepresented. Like I said, I told you, big companies will always have humongous budgets to deploy tech. But people who are left out of this and people who lose advantage are those people who don't have huge budgets. So, our company is an AI automation platform. Actually, we have launched that some time ago, around a year ago. It enables people to go on that platform, create their own AI agent, deploy it seamlessly, and it is absolutely no code. It is so simple. Even a non-tech person can do that. And we have kept the prices for Indian market so that Indians are not left behind in that race. When we talk about the same opportunity other businesses are offering, but they are charging in dollars. And it is a huge disadvantage for a lot of people who are in Asia Pacific region, Indian region, or maybe this region. So that price sensitivity should be there, which is missing when those big enterprises, they serve big interests, they forget about this. So that is the problem that we have solved. That platform essentially enables any business to automate their entire customer journey, right from the inquiry to product purchase, or maybe after sale service and retention also. So we have kept it so simple and absolutely beginner friendly, so that people don't struggle with it. And that's a sign of good technology, that people should not struggle with it, but they should be seamlessly be able to deploy that. Another problem that I had seen, the in the beginning, I think some time ago I mentioned that youngsters are struggling with the opportunities to earn. So we started an initiative under this company's banner only, so that we can empower, educate youngsters and train them to be prepared for this new wave of requirement that is hitting not just our country but the whole world. And especially they can service people from our country so that our businesses are not left behind. So that initiative is called Lead with AI, and the company that I mentioned to you is called Chatzy.ai. Anybody can go there, anybody can explore their option, and I think that will be wonderful.
I'm like, of course, that's wonderful. I'm like, you're trying to provide the youth of our nation with a tool to
Yeah.
empower themselves, right? In a way
Yes.
of speaking.
Yeah.
So this is absolutely good. And at the same time, we see that, okay, we have already spoken very actively about role of AI and implementation of AI, maybe in the education sector.
Yeah.
What other segments of the? I know it's needed in every sector,
Yeah.
but if you have to pick up top three apart from education, what are the other
Yeah.
two you would recommend?
Business for sure.
Okay.
Business may across all B2C businesses, actually they need AI automation. It will solve a lot of problems for them. It will help them in the day-to-day struggle that they have in terms of interacting with their clients, retaining them, servicing them. सो वहाँ एआई की बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है, और सबसे ज़्यादा इम्प्लीमेंटेशन एआई का उसी सेक्टर में हो रहा है, सर्विस में सर्विसिंग क्लाइंट सर्विसिंग में एआई जो है ना वो सबसे ज़्यादा आज की डेट में यूज़ हो रहा है,
Okay.
other than the other areas, of course. And then education is my favorite. It really solves the problem of learning, which our civilization has been struggling since forever. It is really skewed. Some people get all the resources while others don't. So I believe that everybody should just be on the same level in terms of opportunities. And then, of course, what people do with that opportunity is entirely up to them. And I think the third area, I'm divided almost in two, three things, but I would say that people can take advantage of the information and knowledge which is available in the medical field. Diagnostics have come a long way, and it will really bring down the cost of medical facilities when AI is fully adopted and even partially adopted in medical sciences. It will help people access those facilities which they cannot afford to right now. And there are a lot of people who are not able to access the medical facilities because there's a imbalance, like I said, in terms of teachers. There's an imbalance between the number of doctors available and the number of people who require the medical assistance. So there, that knowledge and the AI structures can help democratize that, bring the cost of those facilities down, and people take advantage of that. So another area which I feel is not directly related to what you said, but it will be for larger good, that AI implemented in law, it will enable a lot of people to access justice faster, because they get buried in tons and tons of paperwork, and justice is delayed, of course, because every case needs to access the past information and the future information. So I believe that if AI is implemented in law, the justice will be swift, faster, people will be able to represent themselves more accurately, and I think that will be another use case for greater good that I would like to see.
I'm like definitely remember at least in our Indian judiciary AI implementation हो जाए तो
जी.
शायद लाइफ और आसान हो जाए.
Huh, I think the backbone of any country, other than the economic, things, are law and order and judiciary.
Correct.
And of course, I think everybody has a fundamental right to access good education, good health care, good justice, and good opportunity to earn and live, with their own society in harmony. So I think if these areas adopt AI, then we will see a future in which a lot of problems, where we will be able to solve a lot of problems.
Great, ma'am. So I'm like, as I get a feeling that we have covered so many aspects and touched so many
Yeah.
segments, and the entire podcast went into like a rapid fire. But I still have some rapid fire for you. So these
Okay.
are kind of a myth or truth kind of a question.
Sure.
So I'll use my device to again.
Go for it.
It can be a one word answer. It can be a rapid truth or myth, right?
Got it.
So one is like people think that AI will take away all our jobs.
AI is rapidly replacing humans. It is true. And we need to quickly scale ourselves to be able to take opportunities of the jobs which are available.
So AI can think and feel like humans.
AI cannot think. It can mimic human interaction and feelings. It can give you the impression that it's understanding you. It's almost like talking to a light bulb.
So AI is biased because humans are biased.
Yes. All the biases that come in AI are because of the training data and because of the programming behind it. And often that is the source of that is humans.
So India is behind in the global AI race.
I already told you, it's not a race. First of all, everybody is catching up, and India is a complex market.
Do you think AI will eventually become uncontrollable?
A lot of people say that. Even the father of AI says that there will come a day when things will go out of our hands. Sometimes I'm also skeptical about it. We don't know. We really don't. No one can say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not. This is
And of course, that is the reason we need more and more strong, robust policies,
And
because
regulations.
some companies who are working on these things, they are right now turning a blind eye towards people who will get impacted by it. They are just governed by their profits and losses. So it's very important to hold them to account and keep a close check on them, so that even if they are working on something like this, one, there should be transparency in that. Everybody should know what's going on so that we can brace ourselves, or maybe stop them where they are going, in terms of if it's not good for humanity, we can all stop them there. So transparency is very important. And the other thing is that we should have a robust accountability structure, responsible structure for them, so that those companies are not going berserk and doing whatever they please.
all right. So first of all, thank you so much for answering these questions very as honestly and as candidly as possible. Now I know rapid fire is ended, and of course our podcast almost at the close of it. Before I get to my patent question, which I asked to all my guests, So one question which I have is like, what is one thing you are addicted to? Just the name of the show. It can be ritual, it can be a practice, it can be. Please don't say AI, okay? But still, yeah. Please feel free to,
I enjoy my cup of teas every morning. My
Okay.
husband tells me I'm addicted to it, but I will never know. I
All,
look forward to it. I've never skipped it.
all right,
That
perfect.
it's almost like I'm unwinding, all the thought process in my head and everything else. So I'm
So
addicted to that.
now I have a closing question, kind of a
Sure,
thing. It was not part of the segment, but it just came out of curiosity from me, right?
absolutely.
So, what do you think? What is the next step to AI? There's an internet bubble which came in.
Yeah.
Now it's an AI bubble which is here. It's a
Um,
quantum mechanics, quantum computing, or something of that sort, or
yes.
what else is there?
So quantum is unavoidable. Quantum is eventually coming. We need it. It will again solve a lot of problems, a lot of complex issues that we were not able to, handle till now. Again, it presents a lot of opportunities, and it will open up, art, science, culture, physics, maths. Everything will open up to a new level. And in AI also, AI is not a bubble. AI is here to stay. Although when during the first leg of things in the process of adoption, people make a lot of mistakes because there's a learning curve to everything. So at times we might feel like, oh, ये तो बकवास है, ये तो ठीक से काम भी नहीं कर रहा है. But things are improving, things are progressing, and they are becoming better with time. The more we use, it's learning through our behaviors also, our usage also. AI is here to stay.
So yes, like AI is here to stay. We all are here to stay too. So please, get ahead of the curve. Educate yourself,
Yes.
empower yourself. You have the tools. Learn those agents in the
AI
AI
agents,
agents.
yes.
Uh, the education is out there. The technology is out there.
Yeah.
We just have to embrace it, use
Yeah,
it,
absolutely.
and then maybe grow on along with it, right? Kind of.
Along with
But we have covered most of it. So yeah,
Sure.
thank you so much.
Got it.
Thank you for your time today, and it's wonderful talking to you.